At the beginning of last week, two fast-moving wildfires, fanned by gusting winds, burned through the brush on either side of Pahala Town, forcing the closure of roads, prompting evacuations, and blanketing the Ka'u region in smoke.
There was soot, smoke engulfing the houses. People had to go home from work.
Julia Neal is the publisher of the Ka'u Calendar, a monthly newspaper based out of Pahala that reports on the events in the remote region of Ka'u. Neal also keeps the public updated through the Ka'u Calendar daily news blog. Her coverage of the fire, through photos, written updates, even audio reports, provided a thorough account of the event. She says for a time there was real concern in the town of Pahala.
When the fires came up Pa'au Gulch, which is a very wide gulch, right below the main bridge at the entrance to Pahala, they jumped the highway and really did threaten the hospital and the town.
So we were really scared at that point. We didn't know if Pahala itself was burning or whether it was fire surrounding Pahala.
Julia's nephew, William, was visiting Ka'u for the summer from Miami. He helps Julia as an intern and was with Julia when the fire started.
It started, I was with my aunt and we were in one of her houses and we were just talking, and then she smelled a burning smell. And I thought I had left the stove on from when I was cooking. But it turned out it was the beginning of the fire, so when we went out we saw a huge cloud of smoke. And then before we knew it, all of Pahala was just covered in smoke where you could barely see anything when we were driving. It was really bad. It was hard to breathe also. Well, I've been through hurricanes in Miami, but never a fire like that, especially so close. So nothing like this.
According to the Hawaii County Fire Department, one fire started inside of the Mauna Loa MacNut Orchard and spread in a westerly direction, Makai of the main highway, consuming about 500 acres by sundown. Meanwhile, another fire started alongside Cane Hall Road in Pahala, inside of tall eucalyptus trees and grass. Fire officials say high winds rapidly spread the fire, again in a westerly direction, consuming about 600 acres by sundown. The entire area south of Pahala had dense smoke that traveled all the way to almost ocean view.
It was just covered in smoke, but once we started driving around and we scoped the scene a little bit, we eventually realized that there were multiple fires at the same time, one near the farms, down the highway. So that's when we realized they were surrounding Pahala, not in Pahala itself.
Patients from Ka'u Hospital were evacuated to the Na'alehu Community Center. The fire came close to the hospital and the smoke was just too much for everyone inside.
As you may have heard, that everything closed down. The Long's Pharmacy, the laboratories where people often go to get therapies and testing, the blood center, all of these closed down. And finally yesterday the patients were also returned to the hospital. They had been staying at Na'alehu Community Center for several days.
On Friday, Julia guided the camera crew around the blackened areas of Pahala. Much of it was still smoldering.
There's no doubt that if the wind picked up and started blowing the way it was last Monday, we would probably have some more fires.
Conditions have been dry in Pahala for the past few years, but Neal says one of the biggest problems has been the gulches.
Fires are still running through these dry gulches down below the town of Pahala, and this is like arteries where the fires can just keep going, and then they hook up with a little bit of grass and then with fire breaks on farms, and they just take off. And there's concern about the maintenance of gulches, especially when they're near homes and in the middle of farms and ranches, that perhaps there's some way to take better care of them so they don't become this fire hazard. In fact, a gulch well taken care of, a waterway, is like a fire break.
Now things are starting to return to normal. The hospital is back online. And roads have been open now for a few days. Still, fire crews have not let their guard down. Now the residents of Pahala are wondering how this fire started.
People are really wondering about that. You know, this was a super windy night and then a windy day. Sometimes there's spontaneous combustion when there's like leaves and things left from farms outdoors and macadamia nut shells and so on, that they can combust, but there is some concern that this might have been started. And there were several fires that day. There was another fire up by Kapapala Ranch entranceway along Volcano Highway that was put out. And then these fires happened that day. So there may be some money put up for people to give clues to who might have done this.
On the night of the fire, former County Councilman Guy ENRIQUES was interviewed at a house in Punalu'u.
We had to quit practice because it was like almost like a Vegas showplace with the lights coming, smoke in the lights of the gym. You know, you could see all the smoke. It'd be, where's the show? So we had to leave.
Earlier in the day that Monday, Guy was running a volleyball practice for his club, Southside Volleyball Club, as they prepared for a trip to the Junior National Volleyball Championship tournament in Dallas in 2 weeks.
We came back to our cabins. We had 3 cabins that we were staying with, but the smoke was so thick it was uncomfortable. So there's a beach, Punalu'u, which is 6 miles away, and the way the wind was blowing, we got some nice fresh air down there.
ENRIQUES said the fires along this stretch of Ka'u are nothing new.
Well, you can't predict this. Every summer we have an arsonist that lights up, you know, especially he's pretty good at waiting for the weather to be dry, and we can almost expect it. We had to evacuate our home last summer, which is pretty intense. And what was scary is I was still on the mainland at the point in time, so my family who was here had to help out. Yeah, it's really interesting right now because we had 3 fires at one time surrounding the town, and a really big one on the Mauka side, and then this one starting around 11 o'clock on the Makai side. And they're still burning right now. I can look just upside and can see the fire and the smoke, and downside in the same way. But we have a lot of trust in the firefighters, and they're doing a super job, and every year they do a great job. Last year saved my home. You know, but it's a yearly thing around here, especially in Ka'u. It gets so dry. I mean, there's some really anxious kids over here. I mean, some of them were pretty, anxious about the whole situation. I mean, some of them never seen them of this kind. My own kids see them every summer. So, anybody was scared?
No.
Huh?
Kind of.
Yeah. There you go. First time experience.
Indeed, in the summer of last year, this fire, one of the 3 in the area of Punalu'u, had police asking for the public's help in providing information. Police said in a media release that the August 3rd, August 7th, and August 8th fires, all located along Highway 11 in the area of the 55 and 56 mile markers, appeared to have been set intentionally. While those fires were an inconvenience, these fires were damaging. The up-and-coming coffee industry in Ka'u took a hard hit. Some farms were directly affected.
Pear tree coffee farms are the higher elevation farms, and they're home to some of the top coffee in the world. So there was a big fear that these farmers had lost everything, and many of them were down on the cane haul road above the town, the old sugarcane road, just worried that it was all over for them. So when they finally went back up and saw that most of the farms were saved, but saddened by, of course, what damage was done, but they were relieved.
This is pear tree at going to Maula.
Gloria Camba is the president of the Ka'u Coffee Growers Co-op. She says about 2/3 of her 6-acre farm has been destroyed.
Monday was the big fire, and then Tuesday we came here in the afternoon and it started to drizzle, which it's a blessing for everyone. And then Wednesday was raining for like maybe 5 hours. I called the university.
Luckily, Camba is being told that some of these trees will survive.
Because I was talking to the plant pathologist from the University of Hawaii, Manoa, and he said like as long as they are still yellow, the branches, they will survive. Like the most important is this side, yeah. So if it's yellow green like this, so that means it's gonna really survive. And we were advised also that, and I was sharing this to Godofredo, not to cut, not to prune the trees right now.
Camba is not sure what to do next.
Right now we're trying, and a lot of these agencies are trying to call me too, and I tried to talk to the owner of the land, Chris Manfredi, that he's also trying to see who can help us and call these people that are with the Department of Ag or disaster funds, if we could get, that will be good, because this farmer now, what they need will be maybe fertilizers, so they can revive these dead trees.
There have been a number of offers. Representative Bob Herkes came to see farmers yesterday. He said he would do all he can to help them. The County Department of Research and Development with Di Hopkins, she also said last night that they would help out as much as they can, and they do have crop insurance.
But the region's coffee crop isn't the only concern in the wake of the brush fire.
Well, today we're very much concerned in the community about the future of the turtle nesting grounds at Kamehame. Now, this is a place that the Nature Conservancy owns, and also there's an operation called the Turtle Project that's a partnership with the Volcanoes National Park, and people are going to be going down there to see what smoke, soot, ash, damage might have been done to the nesting grounds where the turtles are actually nesting right now, the hawksbill endangered turtles.
Things could have been worse. All agree the fire department did a great job.
Well, I could just say that, we are thankful that, a lot of the firemen and policemen and some members of the community to come and help to put out the fire.
Still, Julia Neal reminds us that Pahala's brush with wildfire comes at a great cost.
So there was a lot of cost to this, not only in the flying of the helicopters that are either contracted and one owned by the county, but also in just the loss of work by people, and also this huge cost in cleaning everything up.
This is Stephanie Salazar for Big Island Video News.